Days after hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets across Nigeria in protests against inflation and other economic hardships, business owners are taking stock. Amnesty International says more than 20 people were killed in the demonstrations that have ebbed after a crackdown by security services.
Signed over $500 million since then. Fellow Nigerians, we are a country blessed with both oil and gas resources, but we met a country that had been dependent solely on oil-based petrol, neglecting its gas resources to power the economy. We were also using our hard-earned foreign exchange to pay for and subsidize the use. To address this, we immediately launched our compressed natural gas initiative, CNG, to power our transportation economy and bring us down. This will save over 2 trillion naira a month being used to import PMS and AGO, and free up our resources for more investment in healthcare and education.
Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be taking you guys through the natural language processing analysis of the recent speech by the Nigerian president during the just concluded national protests. And we're going to go through some very, very nitty-gritty insights that would enable us to actually know much more about artificial intelligence and how it can be used to analyze language and text data. So sit back, relax, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and turn on the bell notification as we delve into this wonderful video edition. Natural language processing analysis of President Tinubu's August 2024 protest speech. Is a subfield of artificial intelligence, AI, that deals with interaction between computers and humans in natural language. It involves the development of algorithms, statistical models, machine learning techniques to enable computers to understand, interpret, and generate human language. NLP combines computer science, linguistics, and machine learning to analyze and generate text or speech. Its goal is actually to enable computers to perform tasks that would typically require human level understanding of language. Alright, then we should also note that natural language processing, NLP, is a rapidly revolving field, alright, and its applications continue to expand into areas like customer service, marketing, healthcare, and education. classification, sentiment analysis, language translation, speech recognition, question answering, text summarization, and dialogue system. Okay, so another important thing I want to bring your mind to is the process of NLP, which of course typically involves text pre-processing. All right, this has to do with tokenization, stemming, and some other algorithmic processes. Now, the other part that you need to understand is that it also involves part of speech tagging, then named entity recognition, dependency parsing, semantic role labeling, and machine learning model training. Let's quickly look at the applications, some of the very popular applications of natural language processing. You have text classification, all right, in use by several virtual assistants that some of us know, like the Siri, and then Alexa, and then of course you have so many digital assistants that can be customized, built to your taste. All right. Then you also have language translation apps such as the Google Translate. Then of course it's actually used extensively for sentiment analysis, like the one we are doing now with the TiNubu speech in August. All right. Then you also have the chatbots. Then you have the speech recognition systems. Then you have the text analysis software. Let's look at some of the other aspects of the natural language processing. You also have text summarization. All right, these are some of the things that you can do with word clouds, which provide a quick overview of the main topics and the themes in the text. Then the keyword extraction. These help to identify key terms and phrases that are most relevant to text. Then the sentiment analysis itself, which are word clouds which can reveal the sentiment or emotional tone of a text by highlighting words with positive or negative connotations. Now, we also have topic modeling. They can be used to visualize topics and themes extracted from large data sets. Then you have data exploration, which can be used as word clouds to facilitate exploration of text data, helping researchers and analysts to identify patterns, trends, and relationships. Communication, they can also be used to present complex text data insights in clear and concise manner, making it easier to communicate feelings to non-technical stakeholders. Then you have the pre-processing. Word clouds can aid in pre-processing text data by identifying stop words, relevant terms, and noise. Then you also have, of course, very great applications like the word cloud, like I mentioned earlier, which researchers use to analyze and gain insights into text data and identify key concepts and communicate findings more easily. Now, in this video, I'm going to be taking you through some parts of these applications, such as the text summarization, the sentiment analysis. All right, so I'll also be taking you through some of the models that I built from this text, and I hope you learn one or two things from this video. Okay, so now let's take a look at the word cloud analysis. This image word cloud that you're seeing on the screen represents a visual representation of the frequency of words in a given text. Specifically, we're talking about the TiNubu speech text right now. All right, and this word cloud, the size of each word corresponds to how often it appears in text, and which of course inherently means that the larger words are more frequent. All right, that's the bigger words, the words you can see more in bold. Okay, they are more frequent, while smaller words are less so. Now, going from this TiNubu speech, we can see from this word cloud the following, which are the most prominent. You have the country, people, Nigerian, nation, government, states, will, and modes. These words suggest that the underlying text likely discusses topics related to governance, national issues, economy, the public protests, or initiatives in Nigeria. It appears that the text involves discussions around the country's government, its citizens, economic activities, and possibly current events or ongoing issues. Word clouds like these are often used to quickly identify the most important or frequently mentioned topics within a large body of text. Now let's talk about this image, the bar chart image with regards to the Tinubu speech. The image is a bar chart showing 20 most frequent words, with each bar colored differently to represent each word's frequency. The x-axis is labeled words and the y-axis is labeled frequency. The title of the chart, of course, is the topmost 20 frequent words with respect to the president's speech. The word country has the highest frequency, appearing 14 times, alright, and is also succeeded by also, which appears 11 times. Other words like us, nation, people have frequencies ranging from 8 to 10. The words with the lowest frequency, appearing 6 times each, are as follows: Nigerian, months, naira, first, initiative. Now, you should also note that the colors of the bars vary from dark purple for the highest frequency word to the bright yellow for the lowest frequency words. Okay, so let's look at the sentiment analysis graph. This image is a line graph that visualizes the sentiment analysis of a text broken down by sentence. Now, here's the breakdown of this specific graph for Tinubu's speech. Firstly is the x-axis. This is the sentence number, and this represents the sequence of sentences from text numbered 0 to around 85, as you can see on the screen. Now, the y-axis actually refers to the sentiment polarity, alright, and this indicates the sentiment polarity score, which ranges from negative to positive values. Furthermore, you have negative values below 0 indicates a negative sentiment. The positive values above 0 indicate positive sentiments. A score of 0 indicates a neutral sentiment. Now, furthermore, you should also note that data point and line, each point on the graph represents sentiment polarity of a particular sentence in the text. The line connects these points to show the sentiment trend across sentences. Now, let's look at the observations. The sentiment varies across the text, which with fluctuations, yes, between positive and negative sentiments. Some sentences have strong positive sentiment indicated by peaks. That's just around sentence 20 to 85, as you can see on the screen. Now, you should also note that there are also dips indicating negative sentiment. That's around sentence 0 and 40. Now, what you should know is that this graph is very, very useful for visualizing how sentiment changes throughout the text, potentially highlighting areas of strong emotional response, whether positive or negative. This image is a line graph showing the training and validation accuracy of a machine learning model of over 10 epochs. X-axis epoch The number of epochs, which represents the number of times the learning algorithm has processed the entire training data sets. Y-axis accuracy. The accuracy of the model ranging from 65%, 0.65 to 0.95, which is 95%. Alright, now these are the basic key points we need to know about this training. The training accuracy, which is the blue line, is the accuracy on the training data set, steadily increasing from around 70% at 0.70 confidence to above 90. Alright, that's the training accuracy, to above the 90 as the number of epoch increases. Now the validation accuracy, which is the orange line, the accuracy on the validation dataset also increases, but at a slower rate compared to the training accuracy. As you can see, it's just beneath the blue line, which is the training accuracy. Alright, so starting from around 65%, that's 0.65 confidence, and going as high as 85%, which is 0.85 confidence by the 10th epoch. Alright, so now let's look at the interpretation of this training and validation accuracy over epoch graph. The model performance improves on both the training and validation data sets as training progresses, which is quite obvious. But however, the gap between the training and the validation accuracy suggests that the model might be starting to overfit slightly, as it is performing better on the training data than on the validation data. So you can imagine if the gap between the training and the validation is not closing in, or let's just say that if the validation training line, which is the orange line, does not supersede the training line, then that means you're having a sort of overfitting. That's what it just means. That's a simple fact, and that might actually make us feel that we might need to still make a little bit of changes within this training model, this machine learning training model for this specific analysis. All right, now in conclusion, this is the typical behavior observed during training, where the model becomes increasingly specialized in the training data, potentially at the expense of the generalization of unseen data. That is just the simple explanation for this training and validation accuracy over epoch. In the future, I'm still going to be highlighting much more of these kind of analysis, so that you guys can get to understand how artificial intelligence can be effectively used. Alright, so let's now talk about the sentiment analysis histogram. While I was carrying out this research and did the analysis with Python coding programming language, I discovered that this is the most interesting part of these findings. And this particular image graph representation actually graphically, alright, and mathematically gives an overview of the sentiment tendency of Tinubu's speech during the recent protests in August in Nigeria. Alright, now this image is a histogram representing a sentiment analysis with three distinct categories: the positive, the negative, and neutral. Okay, you should note that the x-axis represents the sentiment polarity, ranging from approximately 0.4, which is negative sentiment, to up to 0.8, which is of course the positive sentiment. All right, the y-axis shows the number of sentences, all right, representing to each sentiment polarity. The histogram is color coded. All right, now the green bars represent positive sentiment, the red bars represent negative sentiment. Blue bars represent neutral sentiment. Most of the sentences analyzed are neutral, as indicated by the high blue bar centered around sentiment polarity of 0. The green bars show some positive sentiment, while the red bars indicate the presence of negative sentiment, though both are less frequent compared to neutral sentiment. So overall, the speech is neutral according to this analysis. All right, now you should be very much aware of the implications of neutrality in the sentiment analysis. All right, neutrality in the sentiment analysis has several important real-world implications depending on the context in which the analysis is applied. Now so let's look at the real implications of neutrality in a sentiment analysis. Neutrality in sentiment analysis has several important real-world implications depending on the context in which the analysis is applied. Here are some key considerations: consumer feedback and reviews. Now, balanced perception. A large proportion of neutral feedback can indicate that a particular subject or a user have neither strong positive or negative feelings towards a product or service, and this could suggest satisfaction, indifference, or lack of engagement. Now, let's look at the areas for improvement. Neutrality may actually point to areas where a product or service is meeting basic expectations but not exceeding them. Companies may need to innovate or improve to convert neutral experiences into positive ones. Now, let's look at political and social media analysis. Public opinion. In political or social context, high level of neutrality might indicate ambivalence or indecision among the subject in question, and this can be critical for policymakers or political campaigns trying to gauge public support or opposition. Now, moderate stance. A significant neutral sentiment could suggest that the audience is taking a more moderate or balanced view on contentious issues other than being polarized. Now, this neutrality can also extend to brand and reputation management. Risk management. For brands, a predominance of neutral sentiment could be a sign that there are no major crises or controversies at the moment. However, it also suggests that the brand is not generating significant positive buzz. Engagement opportunities. Brands might want to focus on turning neutral mentions into positive ones through targeted engagement strategies or by addressing underlying concerns that are keeping sentiment neutral. Now, let's look at product development. Now, in terms of product development, product features, neutral feedbacks in the product development can indicate that certain features are adequate but not remarkable. This information is crucial for prioritizing which aspects of product to enhance. And the market differentiation. If a product or service elicits neutral sentiment compared to competitors, it may suggest a lack of distinctiveness, signaling the need for differentiation in the market. Consumer service quality. Neutral sentiment in customer service feedback might imply that while service is not disappointing, it isn't impressive either. This can help in identifying areas where customer service can be improved to create more positive experiences. Retention risk. Neutral sentiment could also indicate customers are at risk of leaving, especially if competitors offer more engaging or positive experiences. Alright, so then also on social and cultural trends. Cultural shifts. A high degree of neutrality in sentiment can sometimes indicate shifting cultural norms or a lack of strong opinions on emerging trends. This can also be important for businesses, media, policymakers to track evolving public attitudes. Now, for the diverse audience, neutrality may reflect a diverse audience with varying perspectives, where no single sentiment dominates. This is crucial for tailoring communication strategies to address different segments of the audience. Alright, and furthermore, you should also think of the engagement metrics for neutrality, and for objective reporting. So, in other words, or in summary rather, neutrality in sentiment analysis often signals areas of potential improvement or untapped opportunities. It suggests that while things may not be going poorly, there is still room to enhance experiences, engagement, and outcomes. Understanding and addressing the reasons behind neutral sentiments can be just as important as focusing on positive or negative sentiments. So that is just the major thing that we need to know about this particular graph, alright, particularly for the political and social media analysis. Okay, so I hope you have gained one or two things from the neutrality explanation for the Tinubu speech, and as well as the positive and the negative polarity.